Have you ever walked into a coffee shop in an English speaking country and felt completely frozen, not knowing what to say or how to order? Maybe you pointed at the menu, nodded nervously, or just said, "Coffee, please," and hope for the best. Here's the thing that most English teachers won't tell you: native speakers don't actually say, "I would like a coffee," the way textbooks teach you. They use completely different phrases, shortcuts, and casual expressions that sound natural and confident. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what real people say when they order coffee in English, the common questions baristas will ask you, and how to handle those tricky moments when things don't go as planned. By the end of this lesson, you'll know how to order like a local, understand coffee shop English, and feel confident in real everyday conversations at a coffee shop. My name is Marcy, and I've been teaching English conversation skills for over 10 years, helping thousands of students just like you go from feeling nervous to feeling natural when speaking English in everyday situations. Let's start with the most important moment: walking up to the counter and getting the barista's attention. In textbooks, you might learn to say, "Excuse me, I would like to order, please." But honestly, no one says this in real life. Instead, most native speakers just make eye contact with the barista and wait for them to say, "Hi, what can I get for you?" Or, "What can I get started for you today?" Notice those phrases, "What can I get for you?" and "What can I get started for you?" are the two most common ways baristas greet customers in English. Sometimes they'll just say, "Hi, how are you?" And you can simply say, "Good, thanks," or "I'm good, how are you?" before ordering. This small talk is normal and expected, so don't skip it. Now, when you're ready to order, here's what sounds natural. Instead of "I would like," try "Can I get," or "I'll have," or even just "Could I do," followed by your order. For example, "Can I get a medium latte?" Or "I'll have a cappuccino, please," or "Could I do an iced coffee?" These are the phrases you'll hear every single day in coffee shops. Now let's talk about the size situation, because this can be really confusing. Many coffee shops, especially Starbucks, use tall, grande, and venti instead of small, medium, and large. Here's what you need to know. Tall is actually small, grande is medium, and venti is large. I know, it doesn't make sense, but that's how it works. The good news is, if you just say small, medium, or large, most baristas will understand you perfectly fine, and they'll translate it in their head. Don't stress about remembering the special names. You can absolutely say, "Can I get a small latte?" and they'll know you mean tall. However, if you want to sound more natural and use the terms they use, practice saying, "Can I get a grande iced coffee?" or "I'll have a venti cappuccino." The key is confidence, not perfection. If you mess up the size name, just smile and the barista will help you. After you tell them your drink, the barista will usually ask you some follow-up questions. And this is where a lot of English learners get confused. The most common question is, "What kind of milk would you like?" Or, "What milk do you want in that?" In modern coffee shops, there are many options: regular milk, which they might call whole milk, or 2% milk, or non-fat milk, which some people call skim milk. Then, there are non-dairy options like almond milk, oat milk, soy milk, and coconut milk. Here's what sounds natural: "Oat milk, please," or "Can I do almond milk?" or just regular milk is fine. You don't need to say, "I would like oat milk," because that sounds too formal. Another common question is, do you want that hot or iced? This one is simple. Just say, hot please, or iced, thanks. Sometimes they'll ask, do you want room for cream? Which means, do you want them to leave space at the top of your cup so you can add your own milk or cream? You can say, yes, please, or no, that's okay, or no, I'm good, thanks. Let's talk about customizing your drink, because this is where you can really sound like a native speaker. If you want to change something about your drink, use the word with or without. For example, can I get a latte with an extra shot of espresso? Or I'll have a cappuccino with sugar-free vanilla syrup. Or could I do an iced coffee without ice? Yes, you can order iced coffee without ice. It sounds funny, but some people do this. You can also say, can I make that followed by your change? Like, can I make that with oat milk instead? Or can I make that decaf? Decaf means no caffeine, and it's a very common request. Another useful phrase is light or extra to describe how much of something you want. Light ice means less ice. Extra foam means more foam. Light whip means less whipped cream. For example, can I get an iced latte with light ice and oat milk? This sounds very natural. Now here's something that confuses people: the difference between a latte, a cappuccino, and a macchiato. They're all espresso drinks with milk, but the ratios are different. A latte has a lot of steamed milk and a little bit of foam on top, so it's very creamy and smooth. A cappuccino has equal parts espresso, steamed milk, and foam, so it's lighter and has more foam. A macchiato, which means marked in Italian, is mostly espresso with just a small mark of milk. However, and this is important, at Starbucks, when people say caramel macchiato, they're actually referring to a completely different drink that's more like a sweet latte with caramel. So the word macchiato can mean different things depending on where you are. If you're at a traditional coffee shop and you order a macchiato, you'll get a small, strong espresso drink. If you're at Starbucks and you order a caramel macchiato, you'll get a sweet, large drink with vanilla and caramel. The best way to learn is just to try different drinks and see what you like. Let's practice some complete orders so you can hear how everything flows together. Here's a simple one. Hi, can I get a medium latte with oat milk, please? Notice it's direct, clear, and polite. Here's a more complex one. Hi, could I do a large iced coffee with light ice, oat milk, and 1 pump of vanilla, please? Or try this one. I'll have a small cappuccino, and can I make that decaf with skim milk? See how natural these sound? You're not using I would like, you're using can I get, could I do, or I'll have. And then you're adding your customizations with, or can I make that? Another example. Can I get a grande iced latte with an extra shot and almond milk? These are exactly the kinds of sentences you'll hear in real coffee shops every day. After you order, the barista will tell you your total, and here's where you need to listen carefully. They might say, that'll be $5.75, which means $5.75. Or they might say, your total is $6.50, which means $6.50. In casual conversation, Americans often drop the word dollars when the amount is obvious. So, $5.75 means $5.75. If you didn't hear the price clearly, don't panic. Just say, sorry, how much was that? Or, could you repeat that, please? This happens to native speakers too, especially in noisy coffee shops. When you pay, you can use a card, cash, or mobile payment. If you're using a card, they might ask credit or debit, and you just tell them which one. If there's a tip screen, you can select your tip amount, or you can tap no tip if you prefer. Tipping at coffee shops is optional, but common. Many people tip $1 or $2, or they select 15 to 20% on the screen. After you pay, the barista will usually tell you where to wait for your drink. They might say, "It'll be ready at the end of the bar," or "We'll call your name when it's ready," or "Just wait right over there and we'll bring it to you." This is when you should step aside so the next customer can order. While you're waiting, the barista making drinks might call out names or drink orders. Listen for your name or your drink. Sometimes they mispronounce names, so just listen for something that sounds close to your name. When you hear your drink called, go grab it from the counter. You don't need to say anything. Just take your drink and maybe smile or say thank you. If you're not sure if a drink is yours, you can ask, "Is this the oat milk latte?" And they'll confirm. Now let's talk about what to do when something goes wrong, because this happens and it's a great opportunity to practice natural English. Let's say you get your drink and it's not what you ordered. Maybe you asked for oat milk, but they gave you regular milk. Or you wanted iced, but they made it hot. Here's what you do. Go back to the counter, get the barista's attention, and politely explain the problem. You can say, "Excuse me, I think there might be a mistake with my drink." Or, "Hi, sorry, but I ordered this with oat milk." Or, "I asked for this iced, but this is hot." Notice the tone is polite and you're not blaming them. Then they'll usually say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me remake that for you." And they'll fix it right away. You can say, "Thank you so much. I appreciate it." Or just, "Thanks, no problem." Another situation is when you want to add something after you've already gotten your drink. Maybe you want extra sugar, honey, cinnamon, or more napkins. Just ask, "Could I get some honey, please?" Or, "Do you have cinnamon?" Or, "Can I grab some extra napkins?" These are all natural ways to ask for what you need. Here's some coffee shop vocabulary that will really help you sound more natural. First, let's talk about coffee drinks. A drip coffee or regular coffee is just basic brewed coffee. No espresso. An Americano is espresso with hot water added, so it tastes similar to drip coffee, but made differently. A flat white is like a latte, but with less milk and more espresso, so it's stronger. Cold brew is coffee that's been steeped in cold water for hours, so it's smooth and less acidic. Nitro cold brew is cold brew infused with nitrogen gas, so it's creamy and has a foamy top like beer. A cortado is a small drink with equal parts espresso and steamed milk. A red eye, or shot in the dark, is drip coffee with a shot of espresso added for when you need extra caffeine. When you hear people say doppio, that means a double shot of espresso. Ristretto means a shorter, more concentrated espresso shot. Lungo means a longer, more diluted espresso shot. You don't need to memorize all these terms, but it helps to know them when you hear them. Let's also talk about common modifications and add-ins. If you want your drink sweeter, you can ask for syrup. Common flavors are vanilla, caramel, hazelnut, mocha, which is chocolate, and peppermint, especially during winter. Some places have sugar-free options too. You can say, "Can I add a pump of vanilla?" Or, "Could I get 2 pumps of caramel in that?" A pump is the measurement for syrup. If you want your drink less sweet, ask for half sweet or just one pump instead of the regular amount. Some people like to add toppings: whipped cream, which you can call whip, caramel drizzle, chocolate shavings, or cinnamon on top. You can say with whip, please, or no whip to tell them your preference. At the condiment station, you'll usually find sugar, artificial sweeteners, honey, cinnamon, nutmeg, chocolate powder, and sometimes vanilla powder. You can customize your drink there too. Now I want to teach you some phrases for special situations. Let's say you want to order multiple drinks, maybe for yourself and a coworker. Here's how that sounds. Hi, can I get a medium latte with oat milk and also a small drip coffee, black? Notice you use and also or just and to connect the orders. You can also say, can I get 2 medium lattes, one with oat milk and one with almond milk? If someone asks you to order for them, but you're not sure exactly what they want, you can show the barista your phone and say, my friend wants this drink. Can you make it? And show them a picture or a text message. If you want to order food with your drink, just add it to your order. Can I get a large iced coffee and a blueberry muffin? Or I'll have a cappuccino and a croissant, please. It's that simple. Sometimes you might want to sit in the coffee shop and work or study. Here's some useful language for that. If you need the Wi-Fi password, you can ask, do you have Wi-Fi? Or what's the Wi-Fi password? Usually it's written somewhere in the shop or the barista will tell you. If you need to charge your phone or laptop, you can ask, are there any outlets available? Or is it okay if I plug in over here? Most coffee shops are fine with you sitting and working, but during busy times, they appreciate if you order something if you're going to stay a while. If someone asks, is this seat taken? They're asking if someone is sitting there. You can say, no, go ahead, or yes, sorry, my friend is coming back. If you need to leave your stuff at your table while you use the bathroom, that's usually fine, but keep valuables with you. Let's talk about mobile ordering, because this is becoming very popular. Many coffee shops have apps where you can order and pay ahead, then just pick up your drink. This is great for English learners because you can take your time reading the menu and choosing your options without feeling rushed. The app will ask you all the same questions the barista would ask: size, hot or iced, type of milk, any modifications. You can add everything you want. Then submit your order. When you arrive at the coffee shop, your drink will either be ready or being made. Just look for the mobile order pickup area. Find your drink and take it. You don't have to talk to anyone if you don't want to. However, I encourage you to practice ordering in person too, because that real conversation practice is valuable for improving your English. Here are some common mistakes I see English learners make in coffee shops and how to fix them. First mistake, using too formal language. Don't say, I would like to request a coffee, please. Just say, can I get a coffee? It's much more natural. Second mistake, apologizing too much. You don't need to say, I'm sorry, before every sentence. It's okay to just order your drink. Third mistake, trying to translate directly from your language. In some languages, you might say something like, give me one coffee, but in English, this sounds rude. Use can I get or I'll have instead. Fourth mistake, not asking questions when you're confused. If you don't understand something, it's completely okay to say, sorry, what does that mean? Or, could you explain that? Baristas are used to helping people. Fifth mistake, speaking too quietly. I know it can be nerve-wracking, but try to speak clearly and loudly enough for the barista to hear you, especially in a noisy coffee shop. Before we finish, I want to give you some cultural tips about coffee shops in English-speaking countries. First, there's usually a line or a queue, and you wait your turn. Don't cut in front of people. Second, it's polite to say please and thank you to the barista. This makes the interaction friendlier. Third, if you're sitting in the coffee shop, you're expected to buy something, not just use it as a free place to sit. Fourth, many coffee shops in America expect tips, usually displayed on a screen when you pay. This is optional, but common, especially if your order was complicated or if the service was good. Fifth, it's normal to take phone calls outside or speak quietly if you must take a call inside. Loud phone conversations inside coffee shops are considered rude. Sixth, if the coffee shop is busy and there aren't many seats, it's polite to not take up a whole table if you're alone. Maybe sit at the bar seating instead. These are small cultural things that help you fit in and feel comfortable. Now let's review everything we've learned today. We started with how to greet the barista and place your order using natural phrases like, "Can I get?" "I'll have," and "Could I do?" We talked about sizes, including the confusing Starbucks names, and how you can just say small, medium, or large if that's easier. We covered the common questions baristas ask about milk type and hot or iced. We learned how to customize your drink using with, without, light, and extra, and how to sound natural when asking for modifications. We discussed the differences between popular drinks like lattes, cappuccinos, and macchiatos. We practiced complete order examples so you can hear how everything flows together. We covered what to do after you order, including paying, tipping, and waiting for your drink. We talked about handling the stakes politely and asking for what you need. We learned lots of useful coffee shop vocabulary and phrases for special situations. And finally, we discussed cultural tips to help you feel confident and comfortable in English-speaking coffee shops. Here's my challenge for you. This week, go to a coffee shop and practice ordering in English. Start simple. Just order one drink using the phrases we learned today. Pay attention to what the barista says to you and try to respond naturally. Don't worry about being perfect. Just focus on communicating clearly and politely. Each time you practice, you'll feel more confident and more natural. Remember, every native speaker started by learning one phrase at a time, and you're doing the same thing. I'm so proud of you for taking the time to learn real, practical English that you can use in everyday life. If you found this lesson helpful, please subscribe to my channel for more practical English lessons that teach you real conversation skills, not just textbook phrases. You can also leave a comment below telling me what topic you want to learn next. Do you want to learn English for restaurants, for shopping, for the doctor's office? Let me know and I'll create a lesson for you. Thank you so much for learning with me today. Keep practicing, stay confident, and remember that every conversation is an opportunity to improve. I'll see you in the next lesson. This is Marcy, and remember, you're doing better than you think you are.